Yeah. Yeah. Hello and welcome to this Warno 1v1 game. Today we have Schutz and Femboy Division playing 24th US, and he or she is going up against domestically abused Felina playing as second UK. We're on Black Forest. Talking about the deployments here, we've got some National Guard scouts going to here. Not really sure why. If you want to look down this road, you need to put them there. And then behind that, we've got two National Guard stingers. One's going to the church because religious people could see further than atheists. So if you put a stinger in a church, it can shoot further, right? That's where it can shoot, whereas the atheist next door, not so much vision. And the other one's going here, where it can't see anything. National Guard tow going to the front of the town, and a National Guard M2 Bradley going to the front of the town. So not going for Charlie, which is typical. Then two snipers. At least they're not National Guard snipers. I don't actually think they exist. One's going here, so you'll get good vision down that road, and one's going here, which is quite conservative. You could feasibly get him up to here, really, or up to here. You can even try some zany stuff where you put him here, but the enemy will probably see you. Behind that, we've got some National Guard scouts. One's going to the front of the town, one's going to this building. And another National Guard scouts for the right. Typically, you can afford to push up one building more, or, you know, to this tree line here. I guess it's not building. Then, the main focus of the push appears to be a fob. It's quite surprising on this division. I'm not sure how useful that's going to be. National Guard Stinger, two Fire Team Laws, a mortar for smoke, which is good. And then two National Guard Abrams. These recently had their price go down to 200, so they're a little bit more useful. And a Chaparral. Switching to his opponent's deployment, we have domestically, or hers, I mean, I guess they are a femboy. We have domestically abused Felina, so I'm not sure if they're a femboy as well. And they've got SAS in the wrong transport. You need to put them in the Bedford, man. You need to put them in the Saxon, sorry. The Bedford, not so good. But yeah, the SAS is a lot more useful now because they've got two MGs. So they're actually a pretty cracked unit because they've got two MGs each. But yeah, you want them in the Saxon. The Saxon's got smoke. The Saxon will keep you alive. And he's deploying them quite far back here. You can definitely get to these two buildings with your forward deployed units. Especially given that the enemy's only forward deployed unit is a sniper. Airborne deployment. Then regular scouts, which are going back to the spawn. Okay, it's going to be one of those games, I guess. A fob on second UK. Two air mobiles, which are crossing over. So this is a suboptimal pathing. You want this one going to the spot on the left and this one going to the spot on the right. It's not really a big deal, but yeah, and they're going behind these buildings here. And then two air mobiles for Charlie. And the Lynx rockets for each of them. The fob can make a bit of sense if you're going to spam Lynx rockets all game. But can it really? I feel like you could probably do the same thing with 3 cards of supply. I used to bring a fob on second UK and it just didn't work. So I stopped doing it. Then you've got Terriers in the Saxons. The Saracen, sorry. The Saracen is just a bad transport. It doesn't have smoke, so I don't really see the point of it. Although for some reason it does have 108 kilometers an hour road speed. Which is fast. And then a Milan 2 going to here, which is very conservative. You should be trying to get it up to there. And 2 tracked rapiers. So really, you'd want 3 SAS going here. 1 less tracked rapier. And, you know, maybe some AA over here, like a javelin or something. Anyway, we'll cast the game, and I shall do so from this perspective. Right, so they're off, and it's time for me to thank the generous channel joiners, generously joining the channel. They get the names on the screen, they get the videos early, they get members exclusive videos. At the tier 2 and tier 3 channel memberships, they also get their games cast at a rate of 1 per calendar month. So with 1 sign up, you're guaranteed at least 2 casts, unless you sign up on December 1st, which I have had happen. Because obviously then your sign up would last for 1 month, right? And it would be over by January 1st, so you only get 1. But yeah, it's the best way to support the channel. If you don't want to pay money, please just like the videos. Just like all the videos. It takes you 10 seconds, and please leave a comment. It takes you 10 seconds. You just type GG. It makes YouTube recommend the videos to more people, and it keeps me going. But yeah, I do appreciate you watching the videos. I do appreciate you all watching the videos. Although it would be, I mean, I would like to wring the necks of some of you and tell you to like the videos, but you know, we need to be appreciative. So as you can see, the air mobiles actually got there before the SAS. Just generally, it's a bit of a risky strat because planes can kill him and stuff. Also, he should be taking off with these so that they don't get shot on the ground. So just give them an attack move order and they'll stand up again because right now they're on the ground. And okay, so now he's sending this SAS over here. That's usually, if he was against a better player, this wouldn't work because there'd be something here that would kill him. But, well, I don't know at the start of the game, actually. Depends what you're up against. Usually there'd be something here shooting you if you tried that. So that's a pretty risky one. I've also noticed that neither player opened CV on Black Forest. You need to open CV on Black Forest. At least one for Delta and Bravo or Echo Foxtrot. You got to open up at least one CV because Black Forest, man, is such a lot. It's always a 40-minute game, and I've seen so many games of Black Forest where people just lose because they take every single zone on the map. I've had this happen to me. I take every single zone on the map and I still lose because I can't get enough points. There's just not a lot of points on this map. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points on the whole map. It's quite low. I believe Vertigo is... No, Vertigo is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... Yeah, Vertigo is 8 as well. I did ask them to add some more zones to Vertigo, but whenever I ask them anything, you always get these flipping parasites jumping out the woodwork, and they're like, and they turn what is otherwise extremely easy to implement suggestion into something that's too complicated for them to bother doing. Something that takes 5 minutes and would make the map 50% better into something that takes 3 hours and makes the map 60% better. Tornado GR1 coming out here, and it won't be punished because there's no, you know, the chappie's a bit far away, and it gets them both, so a pretty good bombing run there. But yeah, I wish I was like a game designer or something. Once I finish the National Guard Abrams are engaged, do you get a military police vehicle on this division? I actually don't think you do. I think you don't. So the National Guard M1 Abrams are literally terrible because there is no military police vehicle. So you cannot remove this reservist trait, which is really, really bad for them. It's not reflected on the stat card, which is really annoying. And I have asked them to fix that as well. But back to the parasitical entities. But what it means is that it performs like 20% worse just by default. And then as soon as it gets shot, it loses all its cohesion, so it performs even worse again. If you get your helicopters and you just right-click on the fob, they'll automatically resupply at the fob, and then they'll come back. You know, you just select the helicopters, hold shift, right-click fob, right-click back here, and they will go to the fob and resupply. The only thing that stops that is if you put the fob in a forest like a Muppet, and then they can't land. But yeah, he's just right-click near the fob instead of on the fob, so they're not actually doing anything there. But, yeah, really interesting game. So, like, from the way both of these players have deployed, I would assume it's a really low-skill game. No offense. But this guy's actually opened mortar for smoke, which is, you know, so there are elements of high-skill play in here. Blue needs some supply up here, like like 2 supply vehicles. You basically always want a supply vehicle on the front lines. Sometimes I even open supply vehicle. I do that quite often, actually. And yeah, I figured that's why he bought the fob. He's just going to spam these all game. This is really bad. It's really bad. The price has come down to 275, but it is really bad, especially if you buy it and then don't immediately use it, because it's got like a 3-minute reload on it, 180 seconds. So Shutsun Femboy division is on the +1 now, and yeah. He is trying to move forward. Sorry, he or she. They. I wish people would attach their pronouns to their casts when they give them to me. What gender is Shutsun Femboy division? Presumably, being a femboy means that you do identify as a male. I went to the dentist once and they asked me what I identify as. And it really caught me by surprise. I guess you know, things have changed since the last time I went to a dentist 7 years ago. And you just got to move with the times. Yes, I am British. The last time I went to a dentist was 7 years ago. That was pretty funny, actually, because they made me fill out a survey because it was like a new dentist. And when I walked in, they looked at me like, this guy. So this is the guy who wrote that he identifies as a penguin on his... No, I didn't do that. This is the guy who hasn't been to the dentist in 7 years. And then they checked my teeth. And okay, they looked at me like, you know, this is going to be like a disaster. Not been to the dentist in 7 years. Must have this on defensive. Yeah, he does. So it gets smoke, but it doesn't have the smoke launcher icon. I need to write that down. File a bug report for that, get that one fixed. I wish I had something proper to write it down on. I need to get a pad next to my desk. Oh, mate. It says chocolate on it. So anyway, they're attacking. They're attacking. So the air mobiles are being caught out here by 10 trillion Bradleys. And one thing you do notice in lower level play is like the attacker very rarely puts recon with his vehicles. These vehicles can't really see anything. But look at that, man. He's smoking. But imagine if he had a recon with this, he'd be seeing that. That sounds a lot like a... Yeah. So he needs to move the chappies up because they don't have the range. All by an eagle. The Phantom, I guess, is just there to soak. Or he just forgot about it. I'm pretty sure he just forgot about that. Yeah, so that's dead. The tornado got out, so it's a big shame. Yeah. Imagine if you had a recon vehicle, the Fist V. Imagine if you bought items and then used them. It's a big investment. And so domestically abused Felina. Is that like Russian for cat? Or is that a person? Or is that feline? Anyway. They, them are now in the lead because they took Charlie and their opponent did not take Foxtrot. Man, I'm such a boomer, dude. I don't understand pronouns at all. So anyway, never bring your challengers at no vet. Ever, ever, ever in the entire existence of the universe. Never bring your challengers at no vet. Always bring them at one vet. Because basically they just take massive damage. And then their fire rate, which is already the worst out of any heavy tank in the game, goes down and down and down and down, and then they just never shoot anymore. They really are a bad tank. Very overpriced tank. In real life, obviously, it's an amazing tank, but it got nerfed. Obviously, the game's made in France, etc., etc. But yeah, I like this usage of smoke a lot to cut off the enemy fire support. I just wish he'd move up his stingers and move up. Oh, his chappies have moved up actually. So here we go. Chappies can one-shot Lynx rockets because they do 6 damage, and these have 6 HP. I mean, they are missing a bit. And so now he needs to select these. They need to select these. Right-click on this, and then hold Shift and right-click on that. So here we go. The MLRS out for second UK. I used to run this strat, and it was just like, why am I losing every game? So I stopped doing it a long time ago. I hope they didn't get this from me. Anyway, Saxon CV was here, and they sent it for some reason over here. I'm not sure why. I'm learning the pronoun meta, I'm getting there. So LGBT's out, and that takes out the Milan and the Scouts. There's not enough SAS here, really. There's only one. Oh yeah, the second one's here. But the Strike Eagle wasn't evac, so he just sits around until he dies. Many such cases, I'm afraid. At least that one gets out. This is not a cheap piece of kit. 315 points. It's a very good plane. Part of it is that you're paying loads of points for aims, which you don't... Aim 9Ms, which, you know, not fantastic. So yeah, big plays here, big plays. I should note, actually, that the Tornado F3 used to have aim 9Ms, and they nerfed them, and they didn't bring the price down, which was pretty funny. Same with the Phantom F3. They nerfed him to aim 9Ls, which are worse. They've got like 5% less accuracy and less range or something, which is a big oof. I mean, obviously, in real life, Britain wins every battle it ever fights, right? But in this game, it gets nerfed a lot. Just giving other people a chance, you know. So, the air mobile will take out that fire team Dragon, because they just drove right up to the enemy in a truck, which is obviously not fantastic. And a lot of that is to do with the way these guys are spawning in their units. You need to click up here in the top left, click the unit, click Y, click Y on your keyboard, press Y, I suppose, and then click on the map, and then it'll unload once it gets to the position, rather than just sitting there. So M270's out for blue, and he killed a chappie. It's a very tight dispersion circle. Oh, there you go, second chappie's down as well. Just not much of a reaction from red. In fact, he's at this very moment driving his very expensive CV unit into the fire, but it stopped, so great planning from red. He clearly realised it was going to stop there. He was counting the rounds. So this is firing from next to the fob, which ain't great. Another thing you can do is put a CV next to it so it reloads faster. And yeah, with second UK, you can really pour on the hate with the Lynx rockets if you keep them alive. And you spam them a bit. But you lose a lot of momentum if you bring the fob, so I think it's best to just bring 3 cards of supply. And don't bother with the M270. Because if you think about how much it actually costs to reload these, 144 isn't actually that much. You get 500 in a regular CV thing, sorry, supply vehicle, which he's not brought a single supply vehicle, which is very depressing. Please bring supply vehicles. So he's bought his second Phantom here and evac'd it over the enemy, but the Stingers are too far away. Like these guys really should be pressed up to here, and the Stingers should be at the very least in this forest, if not like here, a bit closer, you know. This guy doesn't have any rounds. There is a supply here. It's the tracked one, the tracked car, and a weird looking thing. I think it's like the same thing the Chaparral comes on. Don't quote me on that, I just think it is. Anyway, red's taken the zone because blue doesn't actually have a thing in here. But red never capped Foxtrot. So it's still +1 for red. Here we go, Saxon's out. Just need to like cycle your infantry, you know, they get to 2 HP, bring them back. Or even 3 HP, bring them back. Because once you get to low cohesion, they become really slow, which makes it hard to retreat them. So that's why 3 HP is probably a good idea. But yeah, if you just leave them like this, they're probably gonna die, right? Although this is National Guard fire team, so they're not very good. Low cohesion gaming here. But yeah, you just put this one forwards, move this one back, move this one back. You should have some supply back here. Supply that Milan, you know. Anyway, red's finally put a guy here. Just in time to... Really? I mean... Could have just gone for it. You are a tank. That's 16 pen, but it's all about the suppression. Obviously, if you turn your side armor to face it, you're gonna get messed up pretty fast. But yeah, you see how high the suppression is on these ATGMs these days. It's very sad. It doesn't really matter what your armor is because 2 rounds from any ATGM will put you on low cohesion and usually rout you, or at least stun you. Stun is like a percentage chance, I believe. It rolls at like 300 suppression or something like that. So yeah, 2 ATGMs, you've got a chance to stun. And you've got, if you get to 500, you'll rout them, I believe. Well, that might be on a percentage chance as well. I need to look it up. So yeah, he just needs to walk forwards and take that zone. I mean, he's got a lot of tanks. You see he's up-vetting them with the command one, so that's another way you can get 1 vet by up-vetting with a command. I personally don't recommend it. Because I find it very hard to do it. I have 2,000 hours in the game, so I think that you would probably find it hard to do as well, depending on who's watching this. Obviously, all the pros watch Hippie. So, bit of an overreaction to the use of Lynx rockets. Just bringing all these Stingers when there are already Stingers here that just need moving up. And just a lot of units just sat around not doing anything. Very much an interesting game. This still hasn't fired. He's just completely... They have just completely forgotten about it. Like, this fob hasn't been used once. You spend a lot of points on a unit, you want it to be working for you, you know. It's like hiring an employee, and then they just sit around all day working from home. Watching hippie YouTube videos instead of doing what they're actually supposed to be doing, and then you don't go bankrupt anyway because you hired a bunch of Asian guys who actually do the work. So, you've got a company where like 3 guys do everything, and everybody else works from home. But yeah, Red is making waves here. He is slowly pushing this back. It's just because Blue managed to get a CV in here, he's struggling a bit. He could just send the Apache over here, I suppose. There's literally no AA here. If you ever put a tank anywhere, you want AA with it. These M270s, the default one is cluster, but it just doesn't have cluster written on it. So people use it against people, and it doesn't do anything. Cluster does do a little bit of damage against infantry, but just so little as to be somewhat negligible. And yeah, all he's got to do is just get a recon forwards, you know. This is why we spoke about having a guy in this instead of back here, because this is probably hidden from that guy. And then just send the Apache forwards a bit and just kill that. Anyway, all these stingers and they still can't shoot these Lynx rockets. Pretty funny. But yeah, there's things you can do with like advanced Lynx rocket strat. You can select them, hold shift, press Q, press over here with shift held, and then right click back here, and then come back with shift held, and they will go forward, shoot all their rounds, go back, resupply, come forward, shoot all their rounds, go back, resupply. The issue is obviously people bring up AA, and so you can't just leave them to it, they will eventually die. So this one is the HE one, so that's actually good against people instead of vehicles, although to be honest, it's good against nothing. And so he's used it against a vehicle, although he did actually get a challenger there, I guess because it just wasn't moving. Usually you just move out of the way and you're fine. So even Stevens now, with 22 minutes left on the clock. And yeah, okay, that was a good kill. So you must have some M107s back there. No, yeah, I was right. So this thing, I don't know, man. It's not as good as an M110A2. I think thing is a bit expensive for what it is, but you don't get any M110A2Gs on your. It's just so stupid. Just call it something easily identifiable. They will whoever's in the army will have a name for that. They will not say, quick, use the M110A2G. And so you can still be realistic by using the name the soldiers use and have an easily identifiable thing. So that was a pretty cool air wave. Basically, you send them all in at once so that the AA spreads its shooting across multiple targets, and they're more likely to survive. So I was going to say he again. I'm totally just an evil bigot. They slash them managed to basically clear the entire zone with that bombing wave. These Bradleys, you know, it could be. I do like the smoke. F-Ito is a very interesting unit. Basically, it's just dog. I mean, it's just like a really bad TOW2. It does top attack, which means that it 2 shots. I don't actually know how it interacts with 3 armor vehicles. If you would assume that if this is 16 pen, it should 1-shot a 2 top armor vehicle, but nobody ever brings it because it's so bad. Because like the availability is low, just everything about it's kind of not great. But yeah, it shouldn't be 100 points basically. If you think about how expensive like a Beaupart TOW2 is, it's not 100 points. It really is that simple, and it does the same thing. Except the TOW2 doesn't shoot the top armor. Well, it will still 2-shot basically any vehicle in the game because it's 25 regular pen, and so it's just overpriced. It should be like 80 points. I'm trying to compare it to the Belgian one. I think the Belgian one's 80 points, although I can't remember. Yeah, it is. The TOW2 one's 80 and the TOW2A is 90, I think. Or is it an Ito and a... Or just compare it to I mean, obviously the Cobras are different because they've got other armaments on them. So, Warriors out here. National Guard Fire Team Dragon only have a Dragon 1, so you'll survive a hit there. You obviously don't survive 2 hits, especially if you decide to smoke the wrong way. So that was very sad. Whoops. And yeah, these lower level games always tend to be a little bit slower, just generally because neither player can micro all their units effectively, so things just take longer because they can't attack all at once. Like, I really do feel like Red has a pretty big advantage here. I don't know if it's just on kills or just on cost efficiency of his units or what, but he's just got so many guys stood around not doing anything. I mean, at least they're all shooting here. Strike Eagle going out for an arm rifles. And, yeah, I think Red should, like, he bought this Apache, he's not using it. He used this thing once, so that's something. And it's actually crazy how many Stingers he's buying and how little they're doing. He needs another 2 Chaparrals, like one here. Or just keep an Eagle up and just hold shift, right click, right click, right click, right click, right click, right click, and it will just stay there. And if an enemy comes close, you just shoot the Sparrow at it. Nice and easy. So, yeah. What can I say? More build up here. Nice arty target, but this is cluster. So yeah, I guess you could use this on it, but that's got a very narrow scope. But really, this building is a real killer. There's always somebody in here. Usually an ATGM is what you want in here, because it can shoot the reinforcements. But here we see a sniper, which is providing good vision. But yeah, you do want an ATGM in this vehicle, in this building, really. But then, yeah, the enemy should really be hitting this. So I do like the mortars for smoke. Or HE. Mortars in general, a little bit underutilized. For HE, they're basically trash and don't do anything. But, you know, it's the thought that counts. As you can see. Like, it's landing in the same building, it's just not doing anything to him. Oh, there you go. Took an HP there. Just takes ages for them to do anything. Usually the enemy moves, so they're a bit weird. So, Schutzen Femboy Division continues his attack. Their attack. And, you know, I'm undergoing the retraining, right? So we'll get there. Tornado coming out here. Eagles get it. Did it drop it? They both dropped their payload, I believe. Yeah, so even though the Eagles were there, they didn't actually manage to kill that. And then the Eagle dies. So that was actually pretty unlucky for Red. They did the right thing. They had 2 fighters up to stop the incoming bombers, and it just didn't work. Sometimes it just be like that. Anyway, there's nobody here, so Red needs to walk in now and bring a CV in. But something else I've noticed newer players tend to do a lot is they don't have a CV ready to go. They'll have like 1 CV in the zone, and then it'll die, and then they'll be like, oh, I need to buy another one. So then they'll buy another one. But they won't actually, like, so all that time they're losing points, right? You need one ready to go. If you're going to do an attack, there should already be a CV there. Not, oh, okay, now I need a CV. There should be a CV as part of that attack. And when you're on the defensive, you should always have a backup CV. They're not expensive anymore. It's like 40 points for some of these CVs, you know. You also don't want to be blobbing like this. This is a nice target for some tornado bombers. Wow, lots of damage in this part of the world. I do like how it keeps the craters. So they always look like they're floating. Like I suppose when it's close they look fine, but I don't know. I don't know why it looks so strange. So, looks like they are going for the Chaparral. Oh, might get it. No, looks like it's going to survive there. And yeah, lots of Lynx rockets here not doing anything. Imagine if they were back here shooting. Like this one's out of rounds, could have been blatting all those guys. Yeah, you just got to click them. Right click back here. Right click over here. With shift pressed. Another thing you can do is get like a warrior in here. Obviously the Saxon is providing some fire support, but not a huge amount. Just that MMG, not very good. They did have their ranges go up, so there's like 1-250 now, but yeah, it's not perfect. yeah, another thing you can do with the M107s is counter battery those mortars which aren't moving. That's very useful. And yeah, at least there's a supply here now. So Strike Eagle's coming out. Should really be going for the Challenger, not the 2 HP SAS. And now it's dead. So that's, yeah, if you fly into the middle of your enemy, you've got to evac left or evac right, and if there's AA on both sides, you are dead. So you should always be dealing with units at the front or units on the sides, and then controlling the evac direction. Harrier rockets, interesting decision making. I personally don't like these very much, but hey, it worked. And yeah, it's just one of those things, right? They've destroyed all these buildings, so now it's kind of hard to get a CV in here. What you have to do is smoke, and you don't just smoke the CV because you get hit by the MLRS, right? So you smoke in front of the CV and then you sit here. And if they go behind, you go into the smoke. You basically want as much of the zone. You want to create space for yourself so that you can move around when the cluster starts coming in. Or the MLRS in general. Here we go. FI tow against 3 armor. You just never see it fire. It's so frustrating. And I think that was a miss anyway. It's really annoying. You just never see them fire because they are pants. And they're so expensive, so I can't get a good understanding of whether or not it one-shots any 2 armor vehicle and 2-shots any 3 armor vehicle, you know? Also doesn't help that, like second UK is... oh, is that engine destroyed? That is really bad news. So if Red is paying attention here, they can just artillery this, because it can't move. And, yeah, the blue player is bringing up a Bedford to resupply the Challenger. Zero Vet Gaming, very much in the running here. Zero Vet Gaming, just 2... guys trying to shoot each other, I guess. But yeah, you see the power of the National Guard Abrams, how bad they are. The lack of power, I suppose you could say. You should have got another smoke. Barrowcliff should have got another smoke there. So Phantom out first to die, as usual. And, okay, yeah, that's probably going to be a lot of deaths there. That was a lot of deaths there. And yeah, it's pretty crazy how Red just keeps eating rounds and not buying chaparrals. I mean, you need more, clearly. And like, these Stingers haven't basically fired the whole game. They've just been watching their team. Oh no, they've lost a round. Yeah, you just need more AA, man. Get the chappies a bit closer. I can hear MLRS sounds. So, I reckon what's going to happen here is... because right now Red's in the lead, but they're just losing so many units to just what exactly? So I think, I mean, these days I try not to think. I think Red's just going to run out of stuff and then Blue's going to walk in. I think that's what's going to happen, because there's just been such a huge attrition here. The KD. I wish we had like KD charts, it'd be so useful. Total units on the field, live chart up here for the spectators. There's a lot of things they could do with that, but I guess it's just not a priority for them. Because people ask, but you know, people ask for everything, and they've got to prioritize what works for them. You know, they've got to think to themselves, how many sales would we get from this? I mean, that's just business. It is a company. If they go under, then they stop making games. So we should all, you know, be on board for that kind of behavior to an extent. Anyway, just pushing forwards with that recon. Just can't see that Milan 2 team, which is bullying them. Very, very sad. You hate to see it, etc., etc. If they push forwards with recon, they could have just focused down that Milan 2 team. It would have died really fast. And they didn't do that. So taking big losses there. Target marked for artillery, I suppose, by domestically abused Felina. And yeah, that's a juicy one. Get 2 National Guard tows. The funny thing about the National Guard tow is that it's only got 16 pens, so it can't one-shot a 3 armor vehicle. So it being 50 points makes a lot of sense. The thing is, it's actually only got 50% accuracy. It's just the stat card lies. Because the reservist trait, I believe, is minus 5% accuracy. Or is it minus 10? It's minus something. Yeah, they really need to fix that. Because, well, it's just bad that the stat card is telling you the wrong thing. I should really do a guide on it, but there's like 10 trillion things I need to do a guide on, so, you know, I haven't done it yet. I can hear the sound of smoke mortars, so hopefully there's going to be some smoke mortaring to get into this zone. You definitely don't want to be putting them all together like this, because if some Femboy division had decided to... Oh, I see. They're loading it up, and they're going to move them. Interesting. Yeah, cool. Okay, so now this can go in there. Here we go. I mean, it's not like a sign of intelligence or anything. It's just basically when you play this game, the first time you play it, and it was the same for me, except I started when Warno came out. I'm not like a Red Dragon Pro or anything like that. I played Red Dragon for about 100 hours before Warno came out. Or maybe 300 hours, something like that. Just with my friends. I didn't play ranked or anything. I played one ranked game, I just got squished by some Meta Coalition deck, and I thought this game's been out too long, there's no way I can catch up. And then Warno was announced. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so when you first play, everything is a conscious action, and any human brain can only process so many conscious actions at once, right? Everything is like, okay, so now I've got to move this to there. What button do I have to press? Okay. What are these trees? What's the line of sight there? Oh, I need to spend more points. Right? Everything's a conscious action. Whereas as you play the game more and more of the game goes to your muscle memory, or your subconscious, because you've done it so many times that you can basically do it in your sleep. It's like driving. You know, it's like something useful, except you've spent all your time learning how to play a video game. So here we go, Mega Blob here. It's got no organic AA with it though, no pivads or anything, so they just run into the helicopters and die, and so they have to suicide phantoms into 10 trillion javelin, track rapier, whatever, and it doesn't work. So whenever you're moving an armored group, you need organic AA with it, so chaparrals are great for that, you just have them slightly behind, or pivads are really good for it as well, because they also help you against the infantry. But yeah, the sort of budget solution is to send in waves of fighters to try and kill the helicopters one by one and lose all your fighters. So that was like a 500 points just died there. And the whole push just stopped because of the couple of helicopters. And yeah, as you can see, the amount of red on the screen is just decreasing over time, and the amount of blue on the screen is increasing over time. Oh, did we see the FI toe shoot? I wasn't noticing. That's a big shame. Could have seen how much damage it would do. And now it's going to land. Oh man, I'm never going to see this FI toe shoot. Never going to find out the secrets of the FI toe. But yeah, the amount of air on offer here is high, and it's mainly because red just hasn't been killing any planes. That really is why. Like, they just all come back again and again and again. You see the power of the rockets there? Wow, that did a lot. Oh, the Challenger actually goes down. The blob was big enough. And this is on a move order, not an attack move. Now they have to get it back, or they will die to their heavy machine guns. See, I'm learning. I'm growing stronger. Here we go. Here we go. Which target is it on? Nothing. Are we ever going to find out? Oh, which target is it on? There you go. So it only does 4 damage. It only does 4 damage. So it would 3-shot a 3-armor vehicle. But it would... we need to see what it does to a 2-armor vehicle. So yeah, it is like just a bad Toe 2 then. If it 3-shots a 3-armor vehicle. Here we go. More FI... Yeah. I didn't see what HP he was on. You did see the top attack though. Anyway, just a total lack of AA discipline. They had a load of stingers, but they lost them all. and then they didn't replace their stingers. So, you know, very sad gameplay. 4 minutes left. I mean, red still has the lead, although I think it would be a draw. But presumably blue is now going to drive into this zone, or fly in, as the case may be. Yeah, landing in front of the tanks, not fantastic. There's a Saxon right here, actually. So now time to send the Saxon in. Saxon's going in. Saxon is not going in. Saxon has been right-clicked on the FI toe. Saxon is moving away from the battlefield. And yeah, seed against second UK. There's only one thing that is seedable, and it was actually switched off. The FSB1 is seedable. I thought that said tracked Ralinks then. Tracked Rapier links. Tracked Ralinks. British technology. Who knows, maybe we could make a Reddit post about that. Yeah, probably not very funny. Anyway, if you're going to do this, typically you want the smoke there first, and you do not want to be putting 3 mortars smoke in one place. You want to be smoking here, here, and here. And then you've basically got this nice little thing for you. Also, I've noticed both of these players just ignored the forest altogether, which is actually the key to taking this zone. If you get guys in the forest, you can just shoot people in the side as they come in on both sides, right? Whereas you see a lot of this, it's very hard to unlearn this behavior. So what HP was he on? There's too much happening. And they're all shooting the same targets as well. Like that, did that do 4 or 5 damage? That only had 1 HP. Right, here we go. He's on 1, 2, 3, 4. They are on 5 HP. Okay, okay. Yeah, it only does 4 damage. It's only doing 4 damage to those 3 armor vehicles. So it would 3-shot a 3 armor vehicle. I'm pretty sure like it would it only 2-shot a 2 armor vehicle, at which point they are really bad. Anyway, looks like blue's going to win this one, overtaking red now, and red's not got a CV on the board at all. And there was just nothing happening here for the whole game. Like, red had some pretty significant blobs. They could have just sent them up this road and taken that zone at any point in this game. But instead, the face smacking, very common strategy in Warno. It is amazing how much of the zones influence player behavior. I would love to see a Steel Division 1 kind of game mode with just the line. People would play the map so differently because it would be about taking territory. And there, taking a big open field would actually be useful because it is a big open field and that is area on the map. I wish I could make an RTS. Every time I tried, I failed because it's the hardest type of game to make. But I'm too weak. Instead, I sit here playing other people's games, watching other people's gameplay. Truly the lowest of the low. I don't even play the game myself. I watch other people play. Wow. I'm a true bottom feeder. Not seen him around for a while. There's a very high ranked or very high skill player called Bottom Feeder. I'm not seeing him around for a while. I hope he's okay. So yeah, another airwave here. And it's just the same story, although I wouldn't, you know, you really don't need 2 sets of bombs on that house. You could have switched to this, you know. The AA shot the first thing, you know where it is, you can shoot that. A lot of it's just practice, though. I mean, like, people know what to do because they watch my videos, and so they obviously know what to do because I tell them. But it's about reinforcement. So if you're like, I'm the best player ever because I watch Hippie, yeah, bro, keep watching. But actually, you need to apply what you've learned, otherwise you never really understand it. It's the same reason why fiction's better than non-fiction. So this is domestically abused Felina, who has 0 games. And this is Schutzen Femboy Division, who now calls themselves Turklander, and it's a Turkish homelander there. So, you know, the names are very funny. 300 games there, pretty low ranked win rate, needs to watch more games. And yeah, it was just the fact that the bombers literally never died. And so they just, look how many kills they got. Red needed to stop pushing for a second and just buy all his chaparrals. All their chaparrals. Whoa. I'm almost there. Please don't submit me to re-education. I'm trying, bro. Anyways, I'll see you around. GG.